Yeah?
England is full of kind, considerate, open-hearted, civil civilians, and we'll kill anyone who says otherwise. That's the contradictory nature of us English as outlined in a new travel guide being sold all over the world. We sip tea and chug lager. We love pets and are cruel to animals. We revere the Queen and Jade Goody. We're confused. We hate foreigners, yet an Italian runs the national football team, a Greek is the royal consort, and a Scot is the Prime Minister. Indeed, Scots have made up the bulk of the cabinet for the past 10 years. Our national dish is chicken tikka masala, and we'll go on holiday anywhere but here. We're spied upon, bossed around, and flat broke, but it's our sense of humour that defines us and keeps us going. We're famous for it. This is the country that gave the world the dead parrot, 4 candles, and Del Boy falling through the bar. The Germans have never said anything funny in their lives. The French still laugh at Jerry Lewis. And the only thing funny about Russia is the way they elect a leader. It's even more comical than ours. Maybe that's why Abu Qatada likes living here so much. The laughs. He's probably grinning from ear to ear right now. Who can tell behind that beard? Wanted as an international terrorist and considered one of the world's most dangerous people, and Osama bin Laden's right-hand man in Europe, he's just been given bail to shuffle back to his house where he previously claimed £1,000 a month in benefits while inspiring people like the men who flew the planes on 9/11. Taking our money while urging his followers to wage war on us. Having us pay him to hasten our destruction. If that doesn't demonstrate a sense of humour, I don't know what does. He fits right in here. Stop, you're killing us. Let's hope we don't laugh ourselves to death. Well, sometimes you just got to shrug your shoulders and go, oh, blimey, there's another one. The whole world's gone crazy, like I have the old bag say every now and again. Does that make any sense to anybody? Hands up who that makes sense to. Anybody at all? It makes sense to Raj, who will now explain himself at length.
What now?
Yes. Go on then. Bet you wish you hadn't put your hand up now.
I didn't know what I was putting my hand up to.
You thought you wanted to, I'd asked if anybody needed to be excused. Please, sir, need to go to the toilet. Silence, boy. Wait till the end of class. The number is 0845 6060 973. If you want to talk about anything at all, I'm easy. Like a Sunday morning. Everybody. Are we feeling happy? You bet your life we are. And do you know why? It's because the sun's out. The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out to play. Unlike at the beginning of the week when I read out, I feel foolish actually having done it now, but then if you read out a weather report 5 days ahead of time, then you're bound to be caught out because they're wrong 100% of the occasions that they make long-range predictions. By long-range, I mean anything in the future.
It must be so tiring being wrong
all the time. Yeah, you can only imagine. The sun has finally come out this week with the temperatures across Britain climbing to well above 20 centigrade, which is double it and add 32, that's 40 and 70, it's, blimey, that's 83 degrees! As the mercury has soared, so have our spirits, says a top psychologist. Dr. Lance, head of psychology at Bath Spa University.
What?
Never heard of it. Where's that then? Well, Bath, obviously. Bath Spa University. What, can you get a massage there?
Maybe it's somewhere where they do beauty courses. Not that I'm knocking them. I'm just saying maybe it's somewhere you could do them.
It's a beauty school. Maybe he was a beauty school dropout. Let's have that one from Greece right now. Roger's got it lined up. Here we go. Hey! He explains why the fair weather equals a sunny disposition. Dr. Lance says there is no doubt fluctuations in weather affect the way people feel. I often call sunshine nature's Prozac because light stimulates the production of serotonin in the brain, the same chemical boosted by many antidepressant drugs.
Groovy.
Our studies have shown 2/3 of Britons report a change in their mood with the seasons. Of course, there are also social reasons why people feel happier. We are more likely to go out, meet friends, and so on, he says. What does that mean? Go out, meet friends, and so on. I'm considering being appalled. I spent 10 years studying how changes in the weather affect people's moods as part of my research into seasonal affective disorder. 10 years? He could have just given me a ring. I'd have told him. People feel better in the sunshine. All you have to do is go on holiday to find that out.
Everybody loves the sunshine.
Yeah. In fact, let's hear that one right now. Wouldn't that be great?
It would be.
Who's that by? Everybody likes the sunshine.
Roy Ayers.
Roy Ayers. Of course, most people in the random sample I questioned didn't suffer from SAD, the seasonal affective disorder. That's what he was investigating for 10 whole years. Conclusion? People feel better when the sun's out. But I was still amazed to see the degree to which weather affects the average person. Now, it doesn't just get better as the weather gets warmer. It sort of peaks. It's a classic bell curve. You know what a bell curve is, don't you?
Of course, I did GCSE maths.
Do you remember any of it?
Some of it.
Do you? I don't remember anything at all, like nothing at all. Occasionally I'll be able to think of the answer in a multiplication table, but that's about it. Logarithms, sines, cosines, that's all just Greek to me, often denoted by Greek symbols. When the temperature is between 19 Celsius and 24 centigrade, which for anybody over the age of 6 is 66 to 75, sort of optimal human being temperature, people feel happier, more trusting, and they leave bigger tips in restaurants. When it climbs above 25 degrees, that's above 77 Fahrenheit, they report increased levels of irritation. They need greater personal space, and they've got less patience if others invade it. Travelling the tube this last week must have been a living hell. Can you imagine? Oh, well, look what I'm talking to. London. Of course you can. You did it. Horror show. I've got to do it tomorrow. No! I've got to do it in the afternoon. Here, when are Chelsea playing, by the way?
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday. Oh, sweet joy. So the tubes on Saturdays around the west parts of London are going to be blissfully free of football supporters. Not that I've got anything against them, but they take up a lot of space. From 24 centigrade to 30 centigrade, that's between 75 and 86. Phew, what a scorcher. The crime rate rises for every 1 degree rise in temperature. Now, why might that be?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it from me.
Which show are you listening to? It might be because people get irritated, agitated, they need their own space and they're not getting it. Because there's far more people on the tube in the summertime than there is in the wintertime. We've got more visitors here and people are going out. They're not secreting themselves in their hovel-like abodes. So there's too many people around, and we're too hot and bothered, and we're sticky, and we just can't take it anymore, and so we start hitting each other. Also, he suggests that windows are left open, which may explain the rise in crime, and it's people see an opportunity. However, when the temperature gets between 31 degrees and 32 centigrade, that's 87 to 89, in other words, when it starts to reach 90 degrees, crime starts to drop. In much the same way that it drops when it's raining, because people just can't be bothered anymore. It's just too hot to stab Granny. We'll just let her go this time, and we'll catch her when it's a little bit cooler, when she's coming back from the shops. Aside from the scientific and social reasons for our behaviour changes with the weather, Dr. Lance believes that there is another explanation too. Evolution. This is where his study on seasonal affective disorder is really starting to kick in. I don't think that many of us appreciate just how far north Britain lies on the globe because of the Gulf Stream. We have a temperate climate with mild winters. Absolutely right. And that puffy bloke that was going for the President of the United States of America...
Absolutely.
What's his name?
Al Gore?
Al Gore, yes, that's right, Al Gore. He was saying, and I've heard this before, that if the Gulf Stream stops, that's that, like, Mobius strip of warm water that funnels warm air up here, and basically stops all the cold air from the North Pole from freezing us over, like it does. If you follow us around on the latitude of the globe, you'll find that there's that we're level with I've got no idea. I'm not even going to make it up, because I'll sound foolish. You'll go and check, and they'll go, oh, no, he was wrong about that. But places that are on our latitude are much colder than us, because they don't have this beneficial warm air circulating around. It goes warm up and then cold down. And I think it's Greenland or Iceland or one of those that, without this circulation in the of warm water, would freeze us to death. And if it stops, which it has done in the past, we'll freeze like that. It won't be in 50 years or 100 years or somewhere in the future where you don't care because you'll be dead. It'll be tomorrow. That's actually quite a scary thought, isn't it? Raj couldn't care less.
As long as the fairways are clear for me to play my golf.
Yeah, right. Yes. You can always play with an orange ball. Shows up on the snow. Yeah. Since we split, he continues, this is about the seasonal affective disorder and evolution. Since we split from the great apes about 5 million years ago, humans have spent most of our evolutionary history around equatorial Africa. Yet, in the part of the world that we live now, the amount of light that we receive during daytime period fluctuates enormously. See, in Africa, around the equator, it's pretty much the same year-round. Bangkok is right near the equator, is it not? Have I got that totally wrong?
No, I believe it is. That's why it's hot all the year round.
Yeah, that's right.
Day and night.
Day and night. It's exactly the same temperature, pretty much day and night. It being the warmest city on Earth over on the average. I think you told me that, didn't you, Raj? Oh no, that's right. You disagreed with me, and then were proven wrong. Ha ha.
Like I've always said, Bangkok is the hottest city on Earth.
But the thing with it is that you get, unlike in this country where the sun goes down at like 4 o'clock in the winter and 10 o'clock in the summer, it's the same all year because of the tilt of the Earth isn't so pronounced when you're right at the middle of it. That's where we're used to. Of course, where we are now, we don't get that. And although we look a lot different to our caveman ancestors, mentally, we're pretty much exactly the same. Oh, is it that time already? Oh, on and on and on I've been yakking. 7:46. LBC Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. The M4 is...
It's a good idea to get someone else's opinion.
0845 6060 973. Notting Hill. Hello, James.
Hello there, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. We're actually in Park Royal now. We've moved down the motorway a little bit, so there you go.
Right.
I just wanted to let you know who sang Everyone Loves the Sunshine.
Everyone Loves the Sunshine by?
It was by the Corgis.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was.
The Corgis?
Yeah, Korgis.
No, but thanks for playing.
No worries. Did you want a little fact about the equator as well, either side of the equator?
Is it a truer fact than the one you just gave me?
Yes, it is.
Righto.
Well, you know how water goes down anti-clockwise or clockwise down the plug hole, depending on what side of the equator you are?
Well, I read recently that that's not true.
Well, it's worth noting, because I happen to know that this is true, and this kind of backs that theory up, that if you're in a helicopter flying from one side of the equator to the other, a helicopter has to land on one side of the equator, have its blades tuned to go the other way round, and then it gets towed across the other side of the equator before it can take off again.
Thank you for that. Yes, thanks, James, for that completely true fact. There's a hell of a business at the equator, towing helicopters. The money you can make down there, it's unbelievable. The stuff you learn on this show is like an education, ain't it?
No.
Corgis, look that up. Korgis. Everybody loves the sunshine. It does sound like it would be, who did you say it was?
Roy Ayers.
Roy Ayers.
So I performed it live last year, so I'm pretty sure it's him.
Roy Ayers. Oh, he's fantastic.
Boring!
He had a couple of hits, but that's about it. Corgis. Corgis, Wikipedia, free entry, yes. Well, let's look on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is probably where he got that fact about the helicopters. Honestly, I've never heard. Really. I mean, if you're going to make stuff up, make it believable. Even dogs wouldn't have believed that. Right, the Corgis. They had singles. Blimey, they had a lot of hits. I've never even heard of them. Who are the Corgis? Let me have control of the mouse here. Just repositioning myself in our ergonomic studios. The Corgis. Who are they, first of all? Oh, a British pop band. They're British, damn it. No one that has ever really been heard of since was in it. Everybody loves the sunshine. Everybody's got to learn sometime. Oh, close. I remember that one. Everybody. Rubbish. That bloke was a fool. How could you let that person on the air, Victoria? Honestly, did you check that call beforehand?
I did, yes.
Misinformation. Fits right in on this show. 0845 6060 973. Maybe we should have an entire evening of misinformation, because I think everybody's taken the entire day off. Somebody suggested that Friday, this is no news either, really, that Friday is the day on which people do the least work. 2 hours work on Fridays. Peaks on Tuesdays. Monday, almost nothing at all, because people are still either metaphorically or physically holding their head and moaning piteously to themselves. Tuesday is when they feel, right, let's get on with it, because we've already missed a day, so we're going to thrust forwards. Wednesday, there's a bit of like, oh, well, you know, I got a lot done yesterday, so just relax a little bit. Thursday is just one of those sort of in-betweeny days, looking forward, like Loverboy sang, everybody's working for the weekend.
Rock and roll!
And on Friday, everybody's experiencing the weekend already, and you just get 2 hours of work per day on the Friday. Anyway, to continue this story. Since we split from the great apes about 5 million years ago, humans have spent most of our evolutionary history around equatorial Africa. Yet, in the part of the world that we now live, the amount of light we receive during the daytime period fluctuates enormously. I don't think evolution has equipped us properly yet for our winters. We've been living at these latitudes for less than 50,000 years, which in, the great long scheme of things, is but a blink of an eyelid. Which is one of the reasons why they're saying that everyone's getting cancer and dropping down dead all the time, because we're not eating what our forebears did. And splashed over quite a lot of the papers today, they were saying that if you eat and I remember reading this about a month or so ago as well, if you eat the Stone Age diet, which is basically berries, vegetables, like root vegetables, fruit, a bit of lean meat from, a passing wildebeest. Ooh, so yummy. Then you'll live to be, 200-300 years old. You'll be a lean, mean fighting machine. You'll be able to wrestle a saber-toothed tiger to the ground. And that's an actual fact, Raj. I want you to write that down. But because we stuff our faces with cow juice and cheese and, all that good stuff, butter and all those dairy products, and peanuts, bizarrely, are bad for us. I don't know. Funny thing about a peanut... I'll do a third rock from the sun thing, no, I won't. Do you know a peanut is not a nut?
Pray tell, what is it?
It's a legume. That will only be funny if you've seen Third Rock from the Sun, which I still maintain is the funniest sitcom that's currently playing on television. Even though I've seen them so many times, I can recite the script along with the actors. Where was I? Oh yes, back in caveman times. Since the Industrial Revolution, we started to work indoors more, so in winter the brain isn't getting the amount of sunlight it expects. Not only are we not living where the sunlight is equal all year round, so we're already depriving ourselves of about 4 hours of sunlight a day, at least, but that's exacerbated by the fact that we sleep later. We don't get up with the sun anymore, because, blimey, who could? Only Nick Ferrari gets up with the sun these days. What a nightmare. It starts getting light at about 4 o'clock in the morning. Of course, if you were sleeping on the ground and looking at the stars, then you'd be waking up as the sun did. So we don't get enough sun because of that reason, but also because we're working inside now. And the bad news is that the IT revolution means that things are getting worse as we're spending more and more time indoors. Why go out and meet friends and, interact with your contemporaries when you can sit at home typing?
I'm surprised they don't have something on a computer which resembles the sun, so you can, through your screen, get enough vitamin D.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, yes. And eventually, you'll be able to strap yourself into a computer and it will be able to simulate walking. and talking and smiling. We won't have to do anything. We'll just be a round, featureless blob with a finger sticking out, so we can press a button to activate these exciting features. It'll happen.
And then eventually they'll take over and we'll make a movie about it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that movie. It ends really badly. Although, the future is not written. Remember that. The bad news is... and in Britain, we have such an unpredictable climate that we can sometimes feel cheated out of our sunlight, says Dr. Lance. Dr. Lance. I don't know, there's something childishly funny about the word Lance. Say it with me. Lance.
Lance.
He says, when Britain gets a bit of sunshine, we all rush to be outside in case it's all we get. And that makes for more dramatic fluctuations in mood. SAD, seasonal affective disorder. It's good to take an hour's walk a day in the winter, he says. That would help us feel happier all year round, not just when the sun comes out. So there's food for thought. Or you could just completely forget it and carry on with your lives indoors, as per. It's LBC 97.3. I'm Nick Abbott, going away to come back again. We'll be on at 6 on Sunday. LBC 97.3.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
Hey, anybody take off work today? Anybody call in with a sickie here? Let's name names. Let's call them up at home. They'll answer saying, hello. Hello, this is LBC. Hello. Anybody call a sickie today? I came in, the office was deserted. Hello?
No, I think everyone turned up.
Everyone turned up.
Per usual.
Of course. That's because this is Great Britain, not France. Schools will shut, business activity will slow, and aperitifs will flow in the sun-soaked gardens today, while the French confirm their status as the world holiday champions with an unofficial day off. You won't believe how much holiday the French take. It's staggering. Ignoring the call from President Sarkozy to work harder, millions of employees will down tools to travel to the seaside and the countryside on what is, in theory, an ordinary working day in France. The upshot was a 2-hour traffic jam around Paris, as residents headed out of the city last night, a 30% fall in production for many of France's industries, and a rise of up to 20% in holiday bookings compared to last year. Absenteeism will be rife among school pupils, but they're unlikely to be punished because many of their teachers are also playing truant. What a country! They don't stand for anything. The National Lion has been made possible by a calendar that's placed VE Day bank holiday yesterday, May the 8th, and the Whit Monday bank holiday this coming Monday, and by staying away from work today, of course they get 5 days in total. Raj is looking at me right in the face and yawning.
That wasn't a yawn.
Yes, it was. I caught you halfway, and then I started to say something about it, and then you caught yourself. You've got a yawn inside you, and it's desperate to get out. At least it wasn't a sneeze I stopped you doing, because that is awful. When you've got a sneeze coming, and then it doesn't happen, it's like sneezes interrupt us. Nothing worse, right? The National you should have a lie-in, mate. You're tired.
I'm fine, I wasn't yawning.
Right. The National Lion as well. Oh, I read that bit. By staying away from work today, the French get a 5-day break. How bizarre that they would have a bank holiday on a Wednesday. I mean, that's just weird, isn't it? I mean, stick a bank holiday by the weekend, because that is just, that's just asking for it, isn't it? If you stick a bank holiday on not Wednesday, a Thursday, well, of course people are going to take Friday off. Well, they wouldn't here, of course, because we have the work ethic, and we're scared of losing our jobs, and everyone's broke to begin with. We don't have that shoulder-shrugging that the French do. We're like timorous, cowardly people. But the French, they just don't care about anything, do they? I'm going to take today off. Like that, they go.
Maybe it's psychological. If they take off a Wednesday,
yeah,
they think, oh, I'll work for 2 days, then I've got a holiday, and I've only got to work 2 more days, and because they're starting their week again almost, they'll only do 3 hours work, maybe.
No, Thursday. They got Thursday off. They're supposed to be back to work today, and then, of course, they're off for the weekend and on Monday. So, I mean, well, it's like I say, they're just asking for it. A day off squeezed between bank holidays is known as le pont, which is the bridge. And many companies will see 90% of their workers on that bridge. That's staggering. So it's not supposed to be a holiday. 90% of French workers won't show up for work. I'm stunned. The only day of the year that 90% of the people don't show up for work in this country is Christmas Day.
So then the other 10% must feel pretty stupid.
Yeah, pretty stupid, yeah. Well, of course, well, yes and no, because when they get to work, there's nothing for them to do. So they're just sitting around with their feet up, just drinking, what is that dreadful stuff they drink over there?
Wine?
No, not wine, pastis, that,
Orangina.
No, that stuff that tastes like licorice. What's that stuff called? Aniseed drink. I mean, of all the, no. You're rubbish at this game. Yes. Pernod. Pernod and a Gauloise. And a bucket, please. Because when you're in on, because this happened to me. When you go to work and no one else is there, pretty much the office is bare. Well, it's like the last day of school. It's fun day in hell. An opinion poll found that half of all French employees were planning to go away for today or the one last Friday after May Day bank holiday. The survey underestimated the total number taking a day off because it didn't include those who were going to stay at home. They said, "Are you going to go away?" He's yawning again.
That wasn't a yawn.
Yes, it was.
I put my pen to my mouth.
Yes.
That's all.
Liar! So they asked people, are you going to be going away for the bank holiday? And half of the people said yes, but they didn't ask, are you going to be staying at home? As in not going to work. 90% of the workforce in France wasn't at work today. Isn't that incredible? The Gallic economy has fallen behind the British, largely because the French take many more days holiday a year. And each one of those days, they say, cost about 1.8 billion euros. And the euros to the pound, that's about £3.20. If the French worked as much as the British, they would add about 1% to the national wealth, according to advisers to the president. Well, why bother then? 1%? That's nothing. All those extra days they have to... And the difference between them and us is huge. If the French work... Mr. Sarkozy has tried to encourage them to put in longer hours by abolishing income tax on overtime pay.
What?
They abolished income tax on overtime pay. I'll just pause to let that sink in. OMG. Can you believe it? What are we doing wasting our time here for? If only we learnt, if only we paid more attention in school and actually learnt French, we'd be making a killing over there, Raj. Jacques Chirac, his predecessor, sought to do the same by ending Whit Monday holiday. Neither scheme has worked. They're not even... It's, the attitude to money on the European mainland is much different to that which it is here. Germany, I don't know about. I haven't spent that much time in Germany as an adult. But certainly in Luxembourg and like small-town France, they just don't seem to care about money. They're closed for lunch at like 11 o'clock and then reopen at 4, and they're not that bothered if you come in to their shops or if you don't. And if you do come in, then they're not really going to be that bothered about serving you because they're chit-chatting with their, their Frenchy friends. Doing whatever it is that they do, as French people. And you'll be standing there and standing there and standing, and you can't interrupt because you don't speak French, and you, here's again.
What?
Get him a cup of coffee or something, Victoria.
I did nothing then.
Get a, I don't know, like a cup of water or something, and just sprinkle it on him every now and again. Where was I? Oh yeah, in France. They just don't seem to be that concerned about making money. I mean, the one thing that occurs to me time and again, and I've said this on the air before, was when I was in Luxembourg, there in the very centre of Luxembourg, the capital of the country, the world's most boring capital city, there was a sandwich shop, which, I am not making this up, closed for lunch. That's right. So they just don't seem to have that desperation to get more money over there. And so even though they abolished income tax on overtime, they still won't work more. The Whit Monday holiday has been reinstated after union protests, and there are no signs of an increase in overtime. A study last month found that the French remain the world's champion of holidays. Which country has the least holidays?
China.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. They're not on this list. America. Americans have always worked more. That's why they're so rich. That's why they have cars the size of continents and fridges you could live in. They're so big. They take 2 weeks holiday per year. That's it.
They also have the world's largest debt.
They have the world's largest debt.
Yep.
Is that right?
Absolutely. So everyone looks at third world countries and say, why are they so in debt? But actually America has more.
Now, do you mean personal debt or national debt?
National debt.
Right. But of course, they, like the Blairs, can afford a giant mortgage because they earn so much. So America can afford a giant mortgage because it earns so much. So they could clean up their national debt probably by flogging off their gold reserves, but they're not that daft. Who is? Oh, yeah, that's right. No, America has 2 weeks holiday. We are next on this list of, on this sort of edited list of first world countries, with 26 days holiday a year, on average. 26, that's practically double what they get in America. Americans must feel very shortchanged. They work harder than us while they're at work, and they take fewer, like half as many holidays as we do. I'd feel a bit aggrieved if I was an American. I mean, you know, you got all that money, and no time in which to spend it.
Maybe they should come over here.
Germans take about as much holiday as we do, followed by Austria, the Netherlands, Spain, and Italy. All, more or less the same. Italians take 33 days. France, we take 26 days. America takes 14 days. France takes 37 days holiday a year. Good grief, they never show up. How they manage to keep it looking so nice, nobody knows. Maybe they've got English cleaners over there. That's probably what it is. 8:15. LBC Travel with Maggie Doyle.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
I'm listening, Guy. You can talk to me.
I just wanted to talk about how efficient we can be on a Fridays or not.
You talk about what, sorry?
How efficient we can be on work on a Fridays or not.
Oh, yeah.
I used to work for a software company and used to be working normal hours and everything like that. And then we got taken over by an Australian company.
Right.
And they came in and said, right, it's going to be dressed down Fridays. You didn't have to wear a suit. And then at 9:30, we'd have breakfast.
Oh, yeah?
And then at basically about 12:30, everyone would start wandering off for lunch, come back about 1:30. And about 4 o'clock, they put beers and crisps and stuff like that on for everybody.
How fantastic.
So so we used to do a 5-day week, and then pretty much Fridays was the write-up because people would go in there, and at 9:30 when we had breakfast, they also used to put a video on, a full-length video, like Bill and Ted's Adventure or something like that.
Really?
And people would just stay in there, have the breakfast, and then watch the whole video.
Let me ask you this, Guy. How's that company doing?
They were actually, they went bankrupt.
They went bankrupt,
Bought
yeah.
out, yeah. So it just goes to show.
Yes. OK, they went bankrupt. Huh, wonder why. All right, that's a good tale. Thanks very much, Guy.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Bye.
all right. Australians, don't really know much about how they work down there. Oh, you're going to yawn again. Maybe it's just the way your face is sat.
I think it might be.
No, I don't think so. Guilty.
I didn't even open my
What have you
mouth.
been doing last night?
I didn't even
What
open my
time did you go
mouth.
to bed, Raj?
I didn't even open my mouth. Why do you think I'm yawning?
What time did you go to bed?
No later than 11.
Well, this morning? Here's Banstead, Charlotte.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Charlotte.
How are you?
Super, thanks for asking.
Do you ever go out in the sun?
No.
You're always working.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that, yeah. But, I don't like to moan about it.
When do I ever complain?
I heard on the news a little while ago, gentleman saying that people should visit our London parks now, as it's so nice weather.
Yeah, I heard that too. Who was that person?
I don't know,
No,
sorry.
well, he was probably a parks representative of some sort, yeah.
Have you got a favourite park?
Well, I've got a favourite park. Yeah, well, there's the different parks for different things, really. Is Kew Garden a park? I suppose it is a bit. Kew Garden is fantastic for a day out because it costs something like 13 quid or something like that, so it keeps the oiks out. But Raj is screwing his face up at me. Go, Kew Garden, what do you want to go there for, he's thinking. Well, you go there to read your Vanity Fair, do you?
Regent's Park's lovely.
Regent's Park is lovely, you're absolutely right. I like Hyde Park. You go and sit on the north side of the Serpentine there, and then you can... it's like a tremendous view. If it wasn't for that hideous lump that is the barracks, then you could almost... There are some parts of that vista that you don't see any buildings at all. You could imagine that you are in the countryside somewhere. It's fantastic. Somebody should raise that... it looks like, what does it look like, that, the barracks at Hyde Park Corner? They are awful. How on earth did they get planning permission to build that lump?
Is that where the Princess Diana Memorial is, in Hyde Park?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Is that working yet?
I don't think so, is it?
I quite like that. I must be on my own in thinking that that's a really... I like that. It's great when it works, but I don't think it works.
I work up London and I go to St James's Park for lunch every day.
Yeah, St James's Park. I always associate St James's Park with bird poo of the duck variety.
And of course there's so many tourists up there now.
I know. Hideous.
Yeah, there's so many.
But St James's Park is an odd park, because it's a bit too... I don't really know what it is. It's more like a traffic island than a park, really, isn't it? There's not enough to get to grips with. Hampstead is, of course, one of the best parks in town, because it actually does feel like you're in the countryside.
And the views.
And the views are fantastic, yeah. Richmond Park, on the other hand, is a bit boring. It's just flat, featureless, dull.
Is that where you got the deer? The deer?
That is where you got the deer, yeah.
Okay, Nick.
All right, Charlotte.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-ta.
Bye.
0845 6060 973. The nice man was on the news. I don't know who he was, saying everybody should go and experience a park. Well, yeah. Do we need to be reminded of that? Parks are completely infested with people when the sun comes out. I wonder if they're going to... because Jobo... I'm going to refer to him like that constantly now. Boris Johnson. Oh, no, it's not Jobo, is it?
Bojo.
Boris Johnson. Bojo, yeah. Bojo has banned booze on public transport. Not that anybody was really concerned about that too much. It wasn't at the forefront of everybody's mind. You know, there's far more important things to be getting on with than that. But as a first effort... It doesn't really upset anybody that greatly. Looks like he's doing something. Carry on with your bad self. But in America, of course, you can't drink booze outside at all. They've got the brown paper bag people. If you have got a can in the street, which sort of marks you out as a tramp or a ne'er-do-well, whereas in this country it just marks you out as English, then if people frown on it very much, and to the point that you have to put it in a brown paper bag so that people can't see what you're drinking. And they make disguises. You know, you can buy disguises in the shop. You can slip a thing that looks like a Coke can over a beer container, and all this silly nonsense. So I was wondering if they're going to do that here, because it's the next logical step, really, isn't it? That they've done it in London, or have they done it, or are they thinking of doing it, or are they going to do it, or what is it? Will I get...
Comes in next month.
Next month. So, okay, so let's get steamed. Let's get in there and start popping some cans.
But surely if you're drinking with a brown paper bag around your drink...
Yeah.
The police know who to target.
Well, that's right. They know what you're doing, but you're not visibly drinking booze in the street. So I think there's like a technical... it's technical ecstasy. You know, like Black Sabbath.
But if you were to... put an ordinary, like, say, orange juice in a brown paper bag and then drink it...
Mm-hmm.
And
they'll shoot you anyway.
Well...
They'll be sorrier, But they'll shoot you anyway.
But if police had the power to stop and search you, which I think they do anyway,
Yeah.
but I don't know with regards to the drinking, if you have orange juice in there, could you be charged with wasting police time?
While they're beating you to the ground with their nightsticks, then they can charge you with anything they like, as long as you're not being filmed at the time. Of course, they just that just happened again. They just got caught on film beating some perp to the ground. Well, I don't know whether he was a perp or not. Let's just assume that he was. Guilty, guilty, guilty. They were hitting him and punching him, and he was on the ground, and they were cuffing him and kicking him, and all the rest of it. And they'll be the usual. They'll go on trial, and nothing to see here. The video evidence can't be substantiated. All that guff that they come out with here. Is Amy Winehouse in jail yet?
No, I don't think she is.
No. And that's nothing will happen there either. Just like it didn't happen with Peaches Geldof, and it didn't happen with Kate. What's it? Just like it doesn't happen with anybody that gets caught on camera doing anything. Why do they bother? Has anybody been caught on camera and the crime that had been recorded actually do time for their crime? No, it all gets marked out of court. This was the story at the beginning of the week about the CCTV camera debacle. Isn't that right?
Yes, Nick, it is right.
We spent billions and billions and billions of pounds on all these CCTV cameras, and come to find out that they put them on poles so high that you can't see people's faces. There's a schoolboy error for a start, isn't there? The amount of money that we spent on those. And you have to think... Let me see if I've got the... while I search, I'll chat to this nice lady here. Trixie.
I'm not a nice lady.
All right, well, I'll put you on hold, and I'll see if I find someone who is.
That's right. Oh, Charlotte was really nice. You shouldn't have let her go. I was really enjoying that conversation. So you like Hampstead Park? Kew Gardens?
Oh, Kew Gardens is fantastic.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I keep passing that. So when I go to Swansea, I have to go to the M4.
You pass Kew Gardens and elect to go to Swansea instead?
Kew Gardens. I've never been there. So I shall have to look around, but it's just the people that get me down. All these... But you reckon there aren't many people there?
Well, because it costs to get in, and because it's not cheap, because it used to be a penny.
Yeah.
For, forever and a day.
Well, do you remember those days, Nick?
No, I read about it. It used to cost a penny to get in, and then it wasn't very much money at all, and now they've whacked it right up to, in line with a major exhibition, which is fair enough, because it's the world's most, is it the world's biggest botanical garden, or the world's most important, or something like that?
Yes.
Probably because of that seed bank that they got. They're collecting examples of all of the world's plants.
Yes, that must be fascinating.
But it's a brilliant place.
Yes.
But because it costs to get in, it's not as infested with people as London's parks will be this weekend. It'll be an excellent time to go.
Wow.
Although during the week is better, because there's even fewer people there. Just yummy mummies pushing their prams.
Oh, right. Okay, I gotcha. So what about is there a little cafe there where you can have a genteel...
A little cafe, Trixie. They got no end of places to enjoy your comestibles. They got orangeries and they got cafes and it's the restaurants and it's fantastic.
I like this. This idea.
You got to go.
I shall have to go along there.
Yeah.
You'll have to tell me which part of the park you're in so I avoid it, so you can have your privacy. I wouldn't want to sort of, cramp your
Right,
time.
I ain't going to be there because I don't get a day off. But this is working from memory. That's what it's like.
No,
really,
but
really
I mean,
nice.
as I said, I like going to cemeteries because they're very quiet parks.
Yeah, I can understand that. You wallow in your melancholia.
No, I don't wallow. They're just nice and shady. They've got lots of trees.
Oh yeah, you go there because it's cool.
Exactly. I like
Trixie,
it.
I've got to go, my dear, because here comes the new news. This is LBC.
L60.
You're listening to LBC on 97.3 FM. The time, 8:30.
3.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
So, on the news, they were talking about the, I'll mention this in passing, those slime who killed a 14-year-old boy were given life sentences, 15 years. That's not life, that's youth. They're about sort of 15, 16 years old themselves, something like that, so they'll be out at 30, mad, bad, and ready to go. That's not life, that's youth. Why do they keep saying these things? They dress it up. to appear more strict than it actually is. All sentences are half what they say they are, for a start. Why they do that, it can only be to make us feel as though they're, actually making a difference. And to say life sentence, I mean, what does life mean to you? Does that mean until you're dead? I think that's what that means.
Aren't most life sentences something like 30, 40 years, and then you're eligible for parole, or something like that?
Right, which seems... Well, that's still not life, but that seems more reasonable than 15. Of course, 15 will become 7.5, although they said a minimum of. Yeah, right, they say that now. But if they're turfing out people who immediately walk out the gates and go and stab people in the eyeballs, just because they haven't got enough room in there.
But don't they give younger people... I don't know if this is true, but if younger people go into prison for life, don't they give them shorter sentences in order to somehow rehabilitate them and give them a chance?
Oh, yeah, because prison has been known for its rehabilitation properties. Yeah, that's right. That's what they get in there. Rehabilitated. Right. I mean, come on. This is what I was talking about with the CCTVs. Up to 80% of CCTV footage seized by the police is of such poor quality, it's almost worthless for detecting crimes, it's been claimed. Something which happened to me. I don't think I mentioned this on the air, but my car got broken into outside this building. You're shaking your head, Raj. Oh, no, not this again, you're thinking.
No, I don't think I've heard this story before.
So the officers came round, about 3-4 weeks later, and they looked at the video, which was in colour, in surround sound, and they said, I can barely make him out. He was 10 foot away.
Did they show his face, though?
I don't know. But there must have been some way to finger the perp. He must live around these parts. Yeah,
but if he's wearing something, which I assume would probably be jeans and a hoodie, with trainers... That's a bit...
Which sounds
it's like looking for it's like looking for someone in a suit who works in the city.
It sounds suspiciously like what you're dressed in today, Raj. Guilty.
Well, I'm not saying anything, but,
Detective for Chief Inspector Mike disclosed that only 3% of London street robberies have been solved by using CCTV images. Billions of pounds, not millions. Billions of pounds has been spent on kit, but no thought has gone into how the police are going to use these images. How they will be used in court. It's been an utter fiasco, he told the Security Document World Conference in London. Oh, blimey, that must have been exciting. If only we could have got tickets, eh? What a day out that would have been. Can you imagine? Now, you have to think two things about this. First, all right, I believe what he says. If what he says is true... Only two things can be... Hang on a minute, my computer's doing something really bizarre. Let me just stop this, because otherwise it's going to cancel. Stop it. If they've spent billions and billions of pounds of our money by nailing all of these CCTV cameras up there, to the point that we have more of them than any other country in the world, I think we've got something like, and I don't know the exact number, so I'll make it up, 60% of the CCTV cameras in the world are in this country. And I don't actually think that that's too far wide of the mark. I mean, the poles that are in the streets are bristling with these things. If they did put them up there, without thinking how we're going to use them, some bright spark went along to the government and said, boy, have I got a whizzo gadget for you. It'll only cost you billions and billions of pounds. And the government, with its tongue out, had its... just desperate to write him a cheque. If you want to make a lot of money, do a deal with the government. Whatever it costs, they don't care. It ain't their money. So he came along, and they were sold all of these things, and they just put them up, and then they thought, right, what are we going to do with these now? Don't you think that should have been the other way around? They should have thought what they were going to do with them, and then bought them. That would have made more sense. It's not a trial run, is it? Most of the cameras in the world are here.
But I think most of the problems are in areas outside of central London or outside of city centres. Because in city centres, what you have is a camera every, say, half a mile or something like that. So if you see someone on one camera, and they have people monitoring those ones, they trail them along the street. That's how they get them.
Well, they don't get them. That's the point. They don't get them.
Well, it doesn't say where they get them. they might, in central London, the figure might be higher, or in a city centre it might be higher, because the police are more likely to be in that area because it's busier.
Yeah, but that's a completely different scenario, isn't it? If the police are in that area, then they'll get them because the police are in that area.
No, but I'm saying if you see them committing a crime on one camera,
right,
then they run off. They generally, if say on Oxford Street, you can follow them up Oxford Street through the chain of cameras and then pick them up at some point.
Right. Okay.
Whereas if
and then they'll go to court and they'll say, "Well, these images they're not conclusive, so we're going to have to let you go." That's the point, isn't it? That they've bought all these cameras, but they can't use them. They're useless for their intended purpose. So, two things are possible: either the people that are buying them and putting them in the street are morons and and don't have a thought in their tiny little minds, or something else is going on. Very suspicious that they aren't actually for solving crimes. What they're actually there for is to, let's have a wild stab in the dark, shall we? Increase the fines on us, ordinary, God-fearing, law-abiding citizens who might, I don't know, drop a fag end in the street accidentally, or walk against a red man. That's not illegal here yet. Just wait. If it's not actually catching criminals, they must have known that, or they're so stupid it's scary. Don't you think?
Well, if that's what they're using them for, to catch people who do things like that, then why can they use the technology to catch people dropping stuff but not catch criminals?
Right, but I am mystified as you are. Or it's all for traffic violations. Well, it's got to be for something. A government doesn't spend all of that money. Surely, hopefully, a government doesn't spend billions and billions and billions of pounds on these things without a hope of them actually working. Unless what they've said they're for is not what they're actually for.
Maybe they're in place just to appease us.
Or just to make the street look pretty. To make us feel better, yeah. This is Ross Clark in the Super Soaraway Daily Mail. The revelation that only 3% of London's street robberies are solved by CCTV cameras comes as no surprise to me, he said. A year ago this week I was standing in the rain on Southend Pier. Have you ever been to Southend Pier? It's the most boring pier in the whole wide world. I think it's also the longest. Why the world's most boring pier should also be the longest is a mystery to everybody. I mean, there's nothing in the first 10 yards, nor in the mile or so that follows it.
Maybe that's why it's boring, because you expect, as it's so long, there must be something good at the end.
Well, you can see there ain't nothing good at the end, because it's completely flat. I mean, if there was a hill in the middle that you couldn't see over, then yes, you'd be mortally disappointed by the time you got to the end. But you walk all the way out there, and all you can see is the sea. Dull, boring. I mean, they've got no amusements, nor nothing. Southend, do me a favour. Anyway, he was standing on Southend Pier, waving at a CCTV camera at the end of a modern-day challenge to see whether he could travel 50 miles without being caught on camera. My journey, he said, had ended in miserable failure. I just couldn't make the journey without appearing on a CCTV camera, and in recognition of my failure, I waved at the camera that caught me on the pier. But then came a twist. Using powers enshrined in the Data Protection Act, I wrote to Southend Council asking for a copy of the picture that the camera had taken of me. They could not oblige. The reason? The council told me that the images were not of sufficient quality to identify me, even though I told them exactly where I'd been, at what time, and what I'd been wearing. If CCTV cameras can't identify someone who is deliberately trying to be spotted in broad daylight, then what hope is there that they can identify a mugger stalking in the darks and wearing a hoodie? As the Home Office has itself admitted, 4 out of every 5 images requested by the police are of insufficient quality to be any use in fighting crime. Well, that's just incredible. This has got to be one of the greatest scandals in the history of governance. All of that, I mean, how many hospitals could they have built with that? How much does a hospital cost? £800 million, something like that. You could probably knock one up for I'll do you one for 500 million, mate. We start on Monday. But, So they could have, the parties we could have thrown with that cash. It's staggering. Don't you think that's amazing? I think that's absolutely incredible that these things that are bristling on every street lamppost are useless for their intended purpose. And nobody's saying anything about it. Am I alone in being amazed? Maybe I'm amazed the way... Yes.
Maybe it's because they're so commonplace now, you just don't acknowledge them anymore.
Right.
Well, so your first thought is not, if you got attacked, say, on a side street, your first thought is not, was there any CCTV around there? It's something else. You just don't...
help, I'm bleeding.
Yeah. You just don't feel safe around them, so you think, well, what's the point in going to them? Because you just don't acknowledge them as a safety measure.
Right. In many cases, the police don't even get as far as requesting the images. Detective Inspector Mick, head of the Met Police's Visual Images Identification and... blimey. Head of the Metropolitan Police's Visual Images Identifications and Detections Office. Can you imagine the poor bloke who had to write that on his door? He must have a double door just to get the words on. He complained yesterday that police officers are not bothering with CCTV images because looking through them is hard work. We heard this at the beginning of the week. Despite expenditure running into billions, Detective Inspector Neville admits that the whole thing has been an utter fiasco. But if a policeman is willing to stand up and say it's an utter fiasco with a great, probable great conflict to his future career, then there's got to be something seriously bad going on. Until now, the British public has been remarkably tolerant of these cameras, brushing aside warnings by Richard Thomas, the Information Commissioner, that Britain is sleepwalking into a surveillance society. Up to 75% of Brits, according to some polls, have a favourable attitude towards these cameras. But the opinions are based on the assumption that they're helping to cut crime. But they ain't. We've spent all this money on them, and they're absolutely, utterly worthless. I mean, if they looked nice, it would be better. Maybe they could paint them a jolly colour. Like pink, for instance. Brighten the place up a bit. It's the only thing they're good for. It's 8:45. LBC Travel with Maggie Doyle.
Well, some good news then.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Ken, Docklands.
Hello.
Yes, Ken.
Oh, a couple of things, actually. I'm fascinated by the idea of CCTV cameras everywhere, and being more than slightly left-wing, I've got the idea that perhaps I'll end up walking around wearing a balaclava, sipping orange juice from a beer bottle, just to irritate the hell out of them.
Yes. You're being watched, Ken.
Sorry?
You're being watched.
Yeah, so what? Let them stop me. There's no rule against wearing balaclavas, and there's no rule against drinking squash from a beer bottle.
Right.
It just bugs them, I suppose. But that's the way I am. But CCTV cameras, I had dealings with London Underground.
You have dealings? What do you mean?
Sorry?
You have dealings, did you say?
I did have, yes. I worked with them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was chatting to one of the guys on one of the stations, and he said, yeah, we had CCTV cameras. I went, had? Yeah, we had them. He said, we were down this, they have a central viewing area somewhere a few miles away, and they said they were scanning around, having a look, and then a balaclava appeared in front of one of the cameras, stuck a finger up, and the screen went blank. And consequently, they found out the CCTV camera had been stolen. Can you believe that?
Yes. Scarily I can, yes.
And they say if it's not nailed down, well, even if it is, that it goes.
Yeah, we'll nick anything here.
Oh, well, it doesn't have to be a hotel for dressing gowns.
What a beautiful story of modern Britain. They nicked the CCTV camera. All right, thanks very much, Ken.
Cheers, bye.
Thanks. 0845 6060 973. Do we enjoy out-of-season vegetables? You bet your life we do. But that big mouth on a stick doesn't want us to anymore. And I think he's completely wrong about this. Gordon Ramsay, he must have a new show out or a new book out or something like that. Has a day gone by in the past week or so that Gordon Ramsay's ugly mug hasn't been staring out of the papers at us? I'm just so tired of Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay's demanding the government bans non-seasonal fruit and vegetables in restaurants. Like, that's what the government's going to do. What a ludicrous thing to say. What an asinine man he is. The government is going to ban out-of-season fruit and vegetables in restaurants, as though they haven't got bigger fish to fry. Oh, food, get it? The TV chef says he hates being served asparagus in December or strawberries in midwinter. Do you? Really? I love it. Well, asparagus, not so much. I never really understood asparagus. It makes your pee smell funny, apart from anything else. I mean, like funny, ha-ha. Reeling back in shock. Fleeing from the bathroom. Well, how on earth does it do that, then? Nothing else makes your pee smell as funny as asparagus. Why does it do that? That's a direct question to you, Raj. Look at him, an ecstasy of fumbling. Typing away on his little pewter there just to see what the answer is.
It's because of...
he hasn't moved a muscle.
It's because of the components of the asparagus. That's what does it.
Oh, the components. Oh, well, you should have said. Components, are there?
I just did, yeah.
The TV chef says he hates being served asparagus in December and strawberries in midwinter. Ramsey, 41. Blimey, is he only 41? Don't you find it depressing when people are younger than you are and have got 50 million quid in the bank? Isn't that annoying?
So you must find me really annoying, then.
He is challenged Gordon Brown to implement stringent new laws. What an idiot. He wants heavy fines on chefs who choose exotic fruit and vegetables flown in from around the world. Well, that'd be all of us then, wouldn't it? I mean, when was the last time you actually... Oh, nobody even knows what is in and out of season anymore. If you went to the supermarket and you only bought things that were in season, well, your basket would be bare. He also attacked fellow TV chef Delia Smith. Oh, not the blessed Delia, for using tinned and frozen food in her recipes, calling it an insult and a kick in... a kick in the ghoulies for the nation. He actually said that. Delia kicks the nation in the ghoulies. Delia is actually, I find her a bit scary. Not on the television, where she's soft and mumsy, but in real life. She walked past me once, and I was actually quite petrified. She was coming out of a radio studio that I was about to go into on the previous show. I mean, she wouldn't want to come and talk to me, because who am I? She was talking to the more famous, previous occupant in that in the hot seat, and she walked out, and oh, blimey, it was like I felt put in my place. She didn't even say anything. Almost wet myself, Raj. There's something about her that's a bit like, but not on television, where she's lovely. The blessed Delia. But in real life, perhaps it was just because I wasn't expecting, a personage of her magnitude to be walking out the studio before I went in there. I didn't know she was in. Because, I'd arrived with moments to go. I got no idea that she was in there. And then out comes, I was expecting, I can't remember who it was. It was either Chris or, what's it, who does the show on telly. What's his name? Jonathan. One of them. And she came out. And I was like, it's Delia. I was quite petrified. I mean, you wouldn't think that she would be scary in real life, because she's so soft and round and lovable on the telly.
I take it you didn't get an autograph then?
I wouldn't have... it didn't even cross my mind. I'm lucky to be alive. Don't mind about getting an autograph. Anyway, Delia Smith has kicked the nation in the ghoulies, according to Gordon Ramsay, whose restaurants include the new Heathrow Terminal 5 Plain Food venture. Plain, Plane. Get it? Oh-ho! These are the jokes, folks. Who wants to sit in an airport and eat proper food?
People who've got a long time to wait for the next flight.
Well, yeah, that's right, those people. I don't want to sit, although, I don't know, before I get on a plane, because when you sit on a plane, they do nothing but serve you food, just to shut you up, don't they? Especially if you're on a long flight, it's like food and food and food and food and food and food and food.
I don't know who you fly with, but I usually have to wait for my food quite a long time.
Do you?
Yeah.
What, on long-haul flights?
Well, they hand out the peanuts and the free drink.
Peanuts! Yeah.
And then it's a while, so they let you get into your movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bring round the dinner.
What sort of movies? Saucy movies? What kind of planes are you flying on, Raj? That's disgusting. Other people are on this flight. Children are present.
It's usually the latest Hollywood blockbuster.
Oh, a Hollywood blockbuster. That must be fascinating.
Boring!
Oh, no, my machine's got hiccups. I'll have to get it to drink a cup of water from the opposite side of the glass. No, the planes that do nothing but feed you and water you. There's no end of tasty comestibles coming your way. They just want you to shut up and not press the little button that lights the thing above your seat, which doesn't do anything.
I wonder if it actually works.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't do anything. You press it and it lights up.
Maybe it just ejects you if you press it too many times.
Push it too many times and a giant metal spike bursts through your seat, nailing you in place until the cleaners come around and take you off.
Just wipe you up without second thought.
That's right. Yeah. Which airline are you flying with? Let's name them and shame them. Where was I? Oh, yeah, Gordon Ramsay. Anyway, his fruit and veg, he says, should be seasonal. Chefs should be fined if they don't have ingredients in season on the menu. What rubbish. I don't want to see asparagus in December or Kenyan strawberries in March, he says. I want to see it homegrown. It's a chef's job to ensure everything is locally sourced. No, it isn't. It's a chef's job to make tasty food at reasonable prices. He says, and more importantly, if they haven't got it, take it off the menu. In an interview with another other radio station, which we won't name. That's what I'm saying. To be broadcast today, he said, the quicker we get legislation pushed through, the more unique this country will become in terms of its sourcing and level of inspiration. Oh, do us a favour. If you just stray outside of London's poshest restaurants, there's nothing to eat in this country. I mean, have you tried eating in Leeds? Good grief, it's awful. I spent 6 months in Leeds. I found one restaurant that was any good. One! Thai Square.
I think they were a chain, because there's a few of them in London as well.
Is there? Right. Or it was a Thai on the Square. No, but I didn't
those
look.
aren't a chain then.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, a nice Thai restaurant with lots of glass windows. Every place else that I ate in Leeds, and I ate everywhere in Leeds. I mean, I was on a decent amount of money. I was throwing it around like a drunken sailor, and nothing but time on my hands. And I ate everywhere. Everywhere sucked out loud. It stank, and that's your experience of eating outside London. There's one or two restaurants that are doing great food. Everywhere else in this country blows. How can it blow and suck at the same time, Rog?
I don't know, but did you try a kebab shop?
No. A kebab shop. He's lost his mind. This is LBC 97.3. The phone number is as previously given, and I'll be back. 97.3.
Your call's important to us.
Brentwood, hello, David. David?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, people. Yeah, I just think, I think it's a sort of madness, isn't it? Once these people sort of get powerful and get connections with government, they want us to go around and start banning things. I don't know. I mean, I know Boris has started banning things already, and it just seems to be...
well, that's fair enough when Boris did it, because he said he was going to do it.
Well, yes, but I still think there's another way of doing it without, coming out and banning things. But, I don't know what... I mean, Ramsay's got a new series out, and no doubt a new book, and being cynical about it, I suppose it's his PR people.
I would think so. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, yeah.
He's on all the news stations today, so, I mean, he's obviously worked, but, I mean, where do you stop? If you start banning out of season, vegetables in restaurants, does he want to extend that to supermarkets as well? I mean,
well, that is the logical conclusion, isn't it? Of course, that's absolutely right. And that means that you'd only be able to eat apples in September. How daft is that? And that you'd never be able to eat oranges here, and we'd never see a banana for the rest of our lives.
No, no, I mean, it's just a nonsense, isn't it? I mean, I know it has. I mean, obviously you do have some very exotic fruits now, but I mean, that's just a free market, isn't it? I mean, unless you want to stop all flights and You know, it's just out of madness. But just the whole thing about banning things, I mean, I can't see the point. You know, if you ban something, it means you've got to enforce it, doesn't it? It means you've got to employ sort of council inspectors to go around restaurants if they haven't got enough to do.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, as though their work isn't piling up already. They're going to have to examine menus in restaurants.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to check smoking bans and God knows what else. I mean, it's just, you know, just crazy, isn't it? But it just seems to be a mania of people, I don't know, connected with government. You've got to ban everything. You know, I don't understand it.
Well, partly I think it gives the impression that they're doing something.
Yes.
That's part of it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because if they were just sitting around not banning things or telling us you can't do this and you can't do that, then we'd start to think, well, hang on a minute, we're paying you all of this money to sit there. What are you actually doing?
But hopefully, I think we've all seen through this now, haven't we? I mean, we realise that it's just sort of, you know, governed by media, isn't it? It doesn't really, nobody believes it anymore, do they? I mean,
well, whether they believe it or not, and whether they'll put up with it or not, are two completely different things. I mean, all this, it's PR, BS, but we still meekly shuffle along and accept it.
Well, I think the worm is turned because I think this government has finally run out of excuses, and I think people have sort of seen through it all now, and I think, you know, whether the change is going to make any difference, I don't know, but I mean, certainly I think, you know, people's mood has changed to all this sort of, you know, ridiculous, you know, bin taxes and God knows what else they come up with these days. And
well, yes, and I'd have to say yes and no. I'm conflicted, because not too long ago, when Gordon Brown came to power, the entire nation seemed to breathe a great sigh of relief. Think, oh, thank God, the Cheshire Cat has gone. Now we can get down to some, you know, serious politicking. And he was, you know, buoyed on a great wave of support from the lot of us. And his approval rating was through the roof, so was Labour's. And then, because of no one great event, there seems to have been a great change of mind. And so, if there's one thing that you have learnt about politics, is that people's minds can be changed on a whim. On a sixpence, they'll turn around.
Well, I don't know. I think it was a build-up of things. I mean, I think he missed the boat. He should have gone to the country, you know, when he had the chance to go last October, whenever it was. And
but that's a bit, well, I suppose so. But it's a bit weird that would be the cause of our current complaints, that we didn't, that he didn't hold an election that most of us wouldn't have gone to vote for anyway.
Oh, true. But no, I didn't want an election. But I think it was his only chance of winning, because I mean, I don't think, you know, well, Tony Blair won a historic third election for Labour, and I mean, to win a fourth, I think you just have to be, you know, even if you didn't have Gordon Brown, who's a sort of dour Presbyterian Scot who doesn't play well in most of England, you know, I think it would take Superman for Labour to win the next election anyway. So, I mean, you know, I think he was I think he had one chance and he bottled it, and, you know, now he's got no chance, so.
Right. Okay, thanks very much, David. Cheers, mate. Ta-ra. We started with Gordon Ramsay, and then we sidled, almost, without segging, onto, Gordon Brown. But it is interesting, isn't it, that, the nation's mood seems to change almost overnight, from everybody thinking that A is correct to everyone thinking that B is correct, and there's no real, there's no sort of event that caused that sea change. Bizarre. I mean, because not long ago we were thinking that Gordon was our saviour, right? You're a politics graduate. Give us a thought.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God. Is that it?
No, I mean, I think last year we were looking down our noses at Cameron, weren't we?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's a perfect corollary. Exactly right. And now he's seen as the, well, I don't know, whenever you look at his face, you hear the strains of "Things Can Only Get Better" in the background. Don't you? It's like he's the new Tony. Yes, bizarre how the nation of the mood changes like that. But I think the one thing that is going to mitigate against a future Gordon turnaround is that there does seem to be a limit at which people will put up with things, be they politicians, television programmes, or anything other, bizarrely, than radio hosts. Radio hosts can keep going forever, People will not put up with television programs going on forever. They won't. Unless it's in America, where TV talk show hosts do go on, but then that's like a radio show on the air, so it's kind of the same thing. DJs never die, they just don't die, do they? They just keep on going. On and on and on they go. Oh, blimey, do they ever. But television programs, they have their moment, and then nobody wants to hear that anymore. Same with politics. A party will have its time in the sun, and then people just want to change just because they want to change, and for no other reason, really. I mean, we don't... if there was a change of government, and a different lot got in, do we really think that they would make that much of a difference? Probably not, because the country is just blown in the wind like all other countries. It's the economy of the world is an animal unto itself, and there's precious little you can do about it. If the world is going to dive into a recession, then no amount of prudency is going to save you. Ain't that right, Rog? You being the expert and all.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about... let's take this call, because it'd be rude not to. Thurrock. Hello, Greg.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, Greg.
All right.
Pardon?
You all right?
I am all right. Right?
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. You made a comment a little while ago about surveillance cameras. We're the most...
surveilled country in the world, yes.
Yeah, and I've heard that a few times, and I took it to be true, but it's not... In fact, it's not true.
I think you'll find it is.
I think you'll find you're not. We've got over 4 million in England.
Right.
Which equates to about 1 in 14 people. But in America, there's 30 million.
No, I don't think so.
Which is about 1 in 8, yeah.
I doubt it. Well, where'd you get that from?
From the new book I'm reading.
Which is?
Well, I mentioned to you to go out and get a copy of No Logo by Naomi Klein.
Right.
Which you went out and bought, read, obviously.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Well, she's got a new one out now.
What, is it even better than the one that I'm...
I'll tell you, this is the first book that I've read. It's tied up with Iraq, and it's tied up with the war on terror, and the whole political thing. And it's the first one that's addressed itself to the whys rather than the whens and the hows and the whos and the whats.
Naomi Klein.
Yeah.
Right, the supermodel. Blimey, I'm amazed she can even write.
And she touches on this along with other stuff. And it was a paragraph that stood out because it was something that we've all learned to accept, that we're the most heavily surveilled country in the world.
Yeah.
But she puts... And all this stuff is backed up by,
facts.
Well, she's got a full index here, that she doesn't just put down her opinions.
Right, she's not just making it up like I am.
No.
Right.
No, she does mention that. She said, references a big asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Abbot.
Don't listen to a word he says. Yes, quite right too.
Yeah. So, that's the deal there, and it's... she goes on to explain the reasons for it, and you did and didn't touch on it when people were saying, well, people don't get arrested as a result, because the bulk of this has been brought out because of so-called terrorism, the war on terrorism, and but that's just an aside. The fact that whether we actually capture the perps red-handed or not is irrelevant. It's just huge business.
But a business for people that are manufacturing the
cameras?
Yeah,
for the government giving out, money to these private companies.
Yeah, but how's the government benefiting? How are we benefiting?
Well, we're not benefiting, no. But the government is.
How?
Well, because it's giving out these contracts, and then you need then to look up and see who the CEOs and the managing directors of these companies are.
Oh, no, you're not telling me that the people that are running the companies that are manufacturing the cameras that are nailed to the lampposts are actually getting the contracts because they're offering jobs to people in government after they leave office, are you?
Well, that's the way it seems to be falling.
Because presumably she's making the very same arguments about the Iraq War, right?
Well, exactly, yeah.
Because the company, the one particular company that's profiting more from war than they could have ever imagined in their wildest dreams, are coincidentally being run by a lot of the people who were prosecuting the war in the Bush government.
Yeah, Halliburton, and then you got Boeing, and you got all these companies, and the other ones that have shot up since then. since the start of the war, which is the security companies.
Which does make, sort of underline my point that countries aren't really in control of their destiny. They're being blown in the wind like flags, and the people that are really in control are multinational organisations. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the, you know, the Tamiflu. You know this thing about avian flu.
Yeah. Well, I'll say yes.
Well,
what I mean is no.
Stockpiles of Tamiflu are going to be ordered, and we've got to make reference to that every time. And, you know, as soon as it strikes, you know, every government's going out and buying billions of pounds worth.
Yeah.
And guess who was the managing director of the company that produced that?
I don't know.
Donald Rumsfeld.
Oh, blimey, him again.
You remember him?
Yeah. He shot me in the face once.
Yeah, so, you know, this, you should go to your library and order a copy.
Oh, I absolutely will do that, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'll set it on my sat-nav. Library.
What's it called?
It's called,
Who's it by?
No Go-Go by Naomi Watts, yeah.
Mm.
I'll stick it on my reading list, Greg.
It's Naomi Klein, The Shock Doctrine.
Right.
And it is an amazing book.
Okay.
All right.
All right, as soon as I've finished Viz, I'll get straight on it.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Thanks a lot, Greg. Cheers, mate. 9:16. LBC Travel with Maggie Doyle.
Well, the queues are now beginning to clear. Head to it.
I was talking about this Ramsey thing when I got sidetracked. This is Gordon Ramsay. He's called for non-seasonal fruit and vegetables to be banned in restaurants. He wants the government to step in and do something about it. He has got a new TV show out. He must do, hasn't he?
I think the new series is coming out soon.
Right. I'll make a note not to watch it. There's just something about... Well, I was going to say there's just something about Gordon Ramsay that I find unpleasant. But there's not something about him. It's him. Everything about him is unpleasant. He just doesn't seem to be, what's the phrase? A nice person. Hands up who likes Gordon Ramsay. Oh, Victoria! I'm stunned. I thought you were a nice girl.
I suppose I shouldn't say that I've got a Gordon Ramsay calendar on my wall.
You're kidding.
No. I think he's great. I've read both his autobiographies.
He's had 2 autobiographies?
Yeah.
2?
Well,
How can you have 2 autobiographies?
Well, one's leading up to a certain point, and then the other one just covers the last couple of years.
Right. You don't like him, though, surely?
Yeah, I think he's great.
Explain great.
I think he makes a lot of sense when he's organising businesses and sorting them out. All his ideas make sense.
Well, the amount of those shows that have been blown out of the water because they said, well, he filmed us when we weren't, and this bit of filming made me look like an idiot, but it wasn't actually what was happening at the time. But you can't believe anything on TV anymore.
I still like him. You can't convince me otherwise. I don't know what it is. I just like him. I can't help it.
But doesn't he seem like a really deeply nasty, unpleasant, vicious and venal person?
No.
Well, he's portrayed as, or he portrays himself in that light.
Oh, no, because he's only nasty to people who deserve it.
What,
in a kind of Alan Sugar way.
Who foolishly, willingly entered into a contract to appear on his television programme, you mean?
No, if they're hard-working and deserve praise, then he gives them praise. If they're just silly, then he'll swear at them.
Right. No, I can't. I'm quite shocked, actually. I thought that I would have bet money on you hating him. What's on a Gordon Ramsay calendar? Please tell me that it's the dishes that he makes, not actually him as a dish.
There are pictures of him. The one, May's one is actually quite interesting because he has a live lamb sitting round his neck. And
what?
And the lamb is smiling.
Smiling?
Yeah.
Smiling. The lamb is smiling. Lambs don't smile. Particularly around a chef. If only he knew what was coming. Oh, dear. Don't turn your microphone off just because you're laughing. Well, that nasty man killed that cat because it smiled at him. Oh, now you're not laughing.
Maybe it said something nasty as well to him.
What, the cat? Oh, Struth, we've lost our minds here. Lambs don't smile. Really? Does he get his top off? Oh, I'm feeling sick.
There are quite a few pictures without his shirt on.
Oh, God. Really? Victoria, I am stunned. I am actually ashamed. I'm ashamed that you work on this show. I'm looking at you in a completely different light. Honestly, I thought you were a sensible girl.
Are you just embarrassed because you don't have one of those?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I missed out. Of course, now, it being May, it's too late to get one. Oh, I'm shocked.
I'm sure there's some Jamie Oliver ones still knocking the park.
Yeah, what about Jamie Oliver? He seems like he's Saint Jamie. He's a doer of good. He don't swear at people.
I don't like him.
How can you like Gordon Ramsay and not like Jamie Oliver? You are contrary-wise.
Well, because Jamie's just... Gordon strikes me as someone who just wants to get on with it and get the job done, whereas Jamie's very pious and sort of, oh, we should do this and we should feed the kids this, and I just don't like it.
I know, Mother Teresa was like that. Couldn't stand her. Can you believe that? I am in shock. I'm stunned. Of all the people. I would have thought Raj would have been doing that sort of thing. You've got the Jade Goody calendar on the wall, because she's got really big boobs.
Yeah, that's right. Big Brother 9 is on my wall, yeah.
What kind of calendars you got on your wall there, Raj?
I don't have one.
You don't have a calendar? What, at all?
No.
Right, let's root through your video collection, see what we find. What you got in your video collection, Victoria?
Romantic comedies.
Oh, God. Well, okay, well then, you've saved yourself right at the end. Romantic comedies. Thank goodness. Anyway, Gordon is banging on about in-season fruit and vegetables. And he's missed one giant argument, of course. One massive argument that would mitigate against banning non-seasonal fruit and vegetables in restaurants. Can you guess what that is? I'll just come to the end of this piece. He says, the quicker we get legislation pushed through, the more unique this country will become in terms of its sourcing and level of inspiration. Have you ever heard such waffly rubbish? The more unique this country will become in terms of its sourcing and level of inspiration. What? Inspired to create dishes out of cabbage and turnips? Because that's all you get in the winter. Cabbage, turnips, Brussels sprouts, and taters. That's it. What else we got? We got Swedes. All of those things that you pass by on the vegetable counter to go to the exotic, more colourful fare that gets flown in from Kenya. Isn't that right? We don't touch any of that stuff. It just sits there, rotting slowly.
You get carrots year round.
Carrots? Do carrots grow year round? I know you can get them year round. You can get strawberries year round. Doesn't mean to say they grow here.
Well, actually, I don't know if they do.
Carrots, I would imagine, grow, I don't know, so I'll make it up. I would imagine that they come through like other root vegetables, whenever they come up. Got any farmers listening? They're saying, "Arr." No, that's... because in their spare time, they're pirates. 0845 6060 973. Are there actually any farmers listening to this show? What are the odds on that, you think? Well, zero. We're in London. What a stupid question.
Maybe there's some sort of urban farm.
Oh, yeah, allotment types. They'll know, won't they? Right, I'll quiz you. Give us a ring. What's the point? Anyway, he said, I was very fortunate to talk briefly with a PM. The Prime Minister was talking to Gordon Ramsay. The Prime Minister doesn't have enough on his plate. The country's going to hell in a handbag. Nobody's got any money. People are getting turfed out of their house, left, right and centre. No can get a mortgage anymore. We're doomed. And he's got time to talk to Gordon Bloomin' Ramsay. Because he's been on the telly, I betcha. That's why. He says he talked briefly with the PM. We didn't touch on the subject too much, but it's something I feel really concerned about. Well, what did they talk about then? What did they talk about? How do you get an audience with the PM, the man who is supposedly, hopefully, the busiest man in the country?
Maybe they're exchanging ideas on
swearing,
creating recipes on a budget.
Shut up. Yeah, what does Gordon Ramsay know about creating recipes on a budget? His food costs a fortune.
Yeah, to you it does, but to make it's probably quite cheap.
Well, it's certainly cheap in comparison with the amount that it costs to buy, yeah. But then there's, all those extra added costs. Nappary costs a fortune. Oh, Price of nappies gone through the roof. Oh, I'm on about 3 napkins a day now, man. On Delia Smith, Gordon Ramsay said, for Britain's favourite icon to reduce us to eating frozen or canned food, it's an insult. Chefs are trying to establish a reputation across the world for British food, and along comes Delia and tips out a can, and that hurts. Well, you know, the truth of the matter is that that's what we do. As a nation, we sit there glued in front of all these food programmes, saliva dripping down our chins, and then we get up and we eat baked beans straight out of the can, don't we? We do. Nobody cooks from scratch here at all. Which is really bizarre, considering the popularity of programmes that teach us how to cook from scratch. We watch them, it's like food porn. Oh, we can't get enough of it. Look at that sausage. Oh, they were thinking. There's a toad in that hole. We're thinking. But we don't actually get up and make any of that stuff, do we? Stop laughing in there. Do we? We don't. We nuke food that comes with a picture on the cover of people enjoying the food. Serving suggestion. People enjoying food not actually in this box, as though we think that they were. How ridiculous. But the big point that he's missing, I don't have time for it now, because I was building up to a big thing, and here we are at the news again. Isn't that always the way? 97.3 LBC. This is 7.3 FM. The time, 9:30.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Here's Jim Davis.
Good evening. Are you well?
I'm very well.
Marvellous. You're looking well.
No, I'm not.
You are.
So
I like the hair.
What have you got coming up after the new news at 10?
Well, tonight we haven't discussed sexual health for quite a while on the show, so tonight it's a bit of an open surgery, a bit of an open clinic. I've got one of the most knowledgeable men in London here tonight to talk about sexual health. His name is Justin Gaffney. He runs Metrosexual Health, which is a private clinic that you can go along to if you've got any worries in that department. He's a good man.
Right.
So it's a bit of a free-for-all this evening. Anything could happen from 10 o'clock.
Much rudery, probably. I don't know, you get away with it.
We put a disclaimer at the top of the show.
I know you do, yeah. You should have a disclaimer there should be like a little red symbol on the top of the screen. If only radio had screens.
I'm looking forward to it, though, because, I mean, there's obviously a very serious point. Obviously, we discuss, you know, quite intimate issues, but it's a great opportunity if you've got any worries in that department whatsoever to...
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Well, because you're the only one in the room. I mean, I could look at Raj if you want to.
Yeah, would you?
There's no point looking at Vicky because, you know, we know she's a very clean-living young lady.
No, apparently not. She's got pictures of Gordon Ramsay on her wall.
Oh, yeah, she's...
that?
Oh, yeah, no, she told me that she's got a bit of a thing for him. There we go. That's all coming up after 10 tonight.
Right, thanks very much,
Thank
Jim.
you, Nick.
Cheers, mate. It's 0845 6060 973. Here we've got Jo Parkinson coming in. What is she saw... remind me?
She saw the Sex in the City movie.
Oh, right. Sex in the City movie. Oh, that must be fascinating.
Boring!
I can't wait to hear about that. Come on, Jo. Let's have a chat. A little chit-chat. She saw Sex in the City movie and, Whitney Houston. How come Whitney Houston came to town and all everybody was talking about was Celine Dion? She will go on and on and on and on.
Maybe it's because...
You're a Londoner?
Maybe. Maybe it's because Whitney Houston likes to keep a low profile.
Yeah, that's right.
Cause a fuss or
Yeah,
anything.
that's right. And she's very undemanding, too, yeah. She wants all of the red M&Ms taken out of her bowl. That was the famous rider in Van Halen's contract. Do you remember? Actually, there's a website on the web that details riders of rock bands. Riders, by which I mean the small print in the contract that stipulates what they will and will not have in their dressing room. And I think, who's that other diva? Mariah Carey. Didn't she want a suite of dressing rooms, of like 10 rooms, and they all must be painted white? And there'll be a white tiger on a white rope in the corner, and a white milk fountain, or something like that.
I think half of those are urban myths. I don't think they're checking into a motel or a, £10 a night hotel or anything, but...
Well, no. I mean, these are riders backstage. I mean, you know, in the suite of rooms that they get backstage in order to change in. And the famous one, I think the one that started all of this, which was satirised by Lemmy from Motorhead. And I can't remember what the advert was for, and he's talking about like insurance or something like that to somebody on the phone, and then one of his bandmates comes in and he says, and a bath full of tequila and a goat. Which is funny when he does it, Mr. Mole. But I think the famous incident that started it all off was Van Halen saying that they want a bowl of, we want this, and this, we want, you know, various assorted fine wines and water and food and cocktails and waiters and midgets and, you know, all of this sort of stuff. And a bowl of M&Ms with the brown ones taken out. Which is a ludicrous request. But the reason that... And everybody thought, well, these people are off their mind. But, you know, that's... Oh, my machine is hiccuping. I'll have to restart it. And this machine it costs like $3,000, and it's so crap. It'll take until about 10 o'clock to start itself up again. Slow. But the reason that they did that was so that they could ensure that the people organising the event had read the contract. Because if they'd got that right, they'd got everything else right. You see, it was like shorthand. They could just see if there were any brown M&Ms in the bowl. And if there weren't, well, then they'd happily assume that they'd done everything else correctly. You see? Method in their madness. Ow! Rock! Where's Jo?
She's on her way in.
On her way in. From where? Outside or downstairs?
Outside.
Outside. Oh, rightio then. But okay, back to the Gordon Ramsay thing, because the point that I was desperately trying to get to was, this is Gordon Ramsay. He must have a new TV programme or book or something going up, because he's been absolutely everywhere, and, you know, famous people, particularly who are worth that kind of money, they don't throw themselves around, because it is a nightmare doing a PR jaunt, unless there's a reason for it. Usually, their book publisher or TV company insists on it. It's written in their contract. I mean, you think Tom Cruise actually wants to glad hand people outside the Empire, Leicester Square, or the Odeon, or wherever it is, for 3 hours? Like, that would be his choice of an amusing evening out? Of course not. It's probably written in his contract. Actually, it's probably different with Tom Cruise, because he probably is the person who writes the contracts. But you know what I mean. I mean, they don't do it because they're nice people and they're keen to pass on a message. They do it because it's all PR.
I think he might actually like the people.
Who, Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to recruit converts. Like the people. Look at his face. Of course he doesn't like the people. No one likes the people. Famous rich people build walls 30 foot high around their compounds in order to keep the people out. Have you met the people? They're horrible. Hey, here she is. Hey up, Jo.
Sorry. How are you?
I'm very good. Now, you've had a busy week, eh?
I have. I'm so excited. I'm just like, you couldn't catch me at a better time.
Why? What's happened?
Because I've just been watching Sex and the City, the movie.
Oh, I couldn't think of anything worse.
I knew that you would not be a Sex and the City fan. I just had this feeling.
Well, I'm not a woman, am I?
But it's not just for women. I mean, we had this discussion before we went in there. Do straight guys like it? I mean, I know I've got so many gay friends that absolutely love it. Obviously, me and all my girlfriends love it.
Why do gay men like it?
I don't know.
Isn't it all about women?
Yeah, but there's gay characters in it, and it's also semi-written by gay guys, and I think that I think that gay guys, I don't know about this, but from what my gay friends tell me, that they actually relate to the girl characters in it.
What?
Yeah.
In what way?
I mean, I think sometimes the girl's behaviour is so extreme, like Samantha, for example, is, you know, she's sex mad and all she wants to do is have sex. And
Right.
I don't know many women like that, but I actually know more men like Samantha than women.
Right. Men, Raj, we disgust me.
Honestly, I'm just so over the moon. Because I've been waiting for this film for such a long time, and I was just so worried that it wasn't going to be, you know, what I expected.
But isn't it a lame TV show that has run out of steam and is off the air now? Oh, I've got that completely wrong. Totally wrong there.
I mean, I think the last
else.
series did slightly run out of steam, but the last episode was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And it did finish on a high, and the argument is, did they really need to go back and revisit it? But
that's what I would have said, yeah.
Absolutely, but having seen the movie, I'm so glad that they've gone back, because it was just like watching a whole load of new episodes, or that feeling of, you know, laughing. The script is really sharp, very, very funny. The outfits, I mean, it's just like fashion heaven. It's amazing. The bags, the outfits, the necklace, the jewellery.
Oh,
I mean, I just want every single thing.
You're not selling it to me.
I know. I mean, this is a really, really girly thing. But I have to say, if you're listening and you're a Sex and the City fan, you are just going to be so happy with the movie.
Right.
And even if you're not a fan, I think it is a standalone movie, you know, on its own. You don't need to have watched the series to go and see this movie.
I'll wait till it comes out on TV, then watch something else.
And then you won't even watch it. Yeah, I thought you'd say that. It's brilliant, though, Nick. You're lucky. This is one of the first reviews ever of this movie. You know
really?
that? Yeah.
Where did you see it?
I saw it at the Soho Hotel.
Ah, well, see, there you are. That's why you're excited, because they had drinks and nibbles before you went in, and then...
well, I was late. I missed the drinks and the nibbles.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the nibbles there are fantastic. I went to see the Simpsons movie.
Oh, I did too.
Oh, Struth. That was awful. Tell me you didn't like that film.
No, I didn't like it.
Right.
No, you see, this is an example of where a movie made out of series episodes did not work, whereas the Sex and the City movie worked. Because I remember watching Sex and the City, and at the end of every episode it used to end so abruptly, and you think, no way, I've got to wait a whole week before I can actually, you know, see what happens next. And with this film, it doesn't do that. And, you know, it doesn't drag on. It answers all the questions that you would like to be answered, even though I'm not going to go into any of the plot lines because I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Right, does anybody
and I've actually
die?
Signed something.
Yeah,
I'm not telling you.
Are there any shootings?
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you.
Car chases?
There's no guns. There's no car chases.
Oh,
so
right.
you're not
Well, that's that then,
the right person to talk about it. But I'm sure there are many, many people who are just as excited as I was about this.
No, I seriously doubt that.
Well, come on, Sex and the City fans, unite! Tell Nick how good it is.
All right, I'll double dare you. Call me now. 0845 6060 973. I'll wait. I'll look at that screen. Look at it. No one. Not one single call. Not one.
That's
zero. Nada. Niet.
That's because they've all probably got a life and they're all out.
Watching.
You know, acting out Sex and the City in London. Possibly, I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant and excited behaviour over it. It is very, very, very good, though. I think at the moment I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Oh, what?
I know. I never thought I'd do that. For the fashion, for the outfits, for the lines, the script, it's sharp. I laughed and laughed. I cried quite a bit.
Hang on a minute. I'll take this. Or you take it first, see if she's not crazy.
If she's a Sex and the City fan. It is, honestly, and the bags and the shoes. I know. Okay, I'll stop now.
Hello, Anne. Anne-Marie.
Oh, hi.
Yes, Anne-Marie.
I am a Sex and the City fan, and I'm so looking forward to it. I'm so glad it's a good movie, because I am going to have a get together all the girls and go to the pictures on the opening night and try and make it a really good night for all of us girls.
It will be a fantastic night out, I promise you. I was so excited, and I was so excited that I was worried that I was so excited because in case it didn't live up to it. And and I promise you, Anne, it's just like it's just like the series, but better.
I still rewatch some of the reruns that's been shown on Living, I think it is.
Me too.
Just to see if there's any episodes that I've missed along the way that I want, and going over them again, I think, I couldn't remember that she did that. I get excited about it. It's really good.
Occasionally you do get one you think, have I seen this before?
Exactly.
And then you realise that you probably have halfway through. And I'll tell you what, and there's some amazing sort of nods to the old episodes. I'm not going to go into it too much, but Carrie gets a few of her old outfits out.
Oh gosh, isn't that
She cleans
exciting?
out her wardrobe.
Oh,
gets out
blimey.
some
Well,
of the
I'm
old
sold. I'm
outfits.
totally
I have
going.
to say, for the men, though, there are a lot of closet Sex and the City watchers who just will not admit it. And I bet you, secretly, you probably had a sneaky view at one or two episodes and thought, better not tell anybody I actually watch it and like it.
Nick?
I did try to watch it. I got about 10 minutes in. I thought, this is the most ludicrous, girly nonsense I've ever seen in my life. I'd rather shave my head with a cheese grater than watch one more minute. Hey, thanks very much, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Hey, maybe, Raj, we should get together with Anne-Marie and Joe, and we should all go and make a night of it at the cinema and go see Sex and the City. What do you say?
Yeah, we could put our glad rags on, go out.
We could have Cosmos beforehand, some Cosmo cocktails, Bellinis.
I'd rather shoot myself.
That's Carrie's special drink.
I want to come back and talk to you about something else that you've seen this week. So can you say right there?
Yeah.
Rightio, this is LBC, it's 9:45. Travel news with Maggie Doyle.
Well, the M4 is looking a lot better. It's still a little bit...
That's quite exciting and girly this week.
Yeah, I guess it's girly. I mean, I'm a massive fan of her, and she was very girly. I think she's got quite a few male fans as well.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Now, she came and went without a word in the press. Everyone was talking about Celine Dion. I read Celine Dion reviews virtually every day this week. All of them saying exactly the same thing. We went in thinking this was going to be the biggest load of old tripe imaginable, but we were won over in the end. They all said that.
Well, you know, it's the voice, isn't it? You can't argue with the power of Celine Dion's voice.
Yeah.
As soon as she does a Titanic theme tune, that's it. Everybody will be crying.
So what's the deal with Whitney Houston? How come nobody even knew she was here?
Well, she came over for this charity ball, the Caldwell Children's Charity Ball. It's John Caldwell, who's a mobile phone billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
And he does this annual ball every year. Last year we got Tina Turner out of retirement, and it's called the Legends Ball. So he tries to get as many legends in one place as possible. Buzz Aldrin was there last night, yeah. But Whitney Houston was the guest of honour, rumoured to be paid 1.7 million. I don't know how true that is. But if that is true, then that means that she was paid about 28,000 per minute.
Nice work if you can get it.
Nice. Really nice. And
where was this?
It was at the Battersea Evolution. Battersea Park. As you go in the Chelsea Gate Bridge, there's a big sort of new venue. And it doesn't look that glam from the outside, but they transformed it inside. I mean, the amount of money at this do was incredible. They were auctioning off the Mercedes. You know the Mercedes with the doors that come up like that?
The SLR.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Amazing. They were auctioning those off. I mean, it was just a very, very glitzy glam do.
A snip at 350 grand, Raj. What colour do you want yours in?
I've already got two, actually.
Oh, have you? Right.
And well, there was a raffle for one, and guess how much the tickets were?
£1,000.
20 quid. And I was like, please, can I just buy one ticket? And I was thinking, imagine if I went out to cover this story and came back driving one of those.
Well, yes. So did you buy one?
No.
Oh, come on, 20 quid?
No. I wasn't allowed.
Oh, right.
I know. I wasn't supposed to be allowed near Whitney as well. Because
well, I wouldn't think so, no.
There was a press blackout, is what they call it. And they didn't want anyone to know that she was coming into the country, but of course it got out, and I think a few of the tabloids were on Whitney Watch. But they managed to get her into the country. No one saw her arriving at the airport. No one saw her coming to the hotel. So it was, done very, very well. And she did get a thumbs up.
So, did you see her perform?
No, I didn't see her perform. I wasn't allowed to.
Were you hanging around outside?
No, actually one of our top bosses went to go and see her.
Right.
And gave me a report back.
Oh, right. Okay.
And apparently she looked absolutely stunning. She had a full-length black dress on. She sang I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, and I Want to Dance with Somebody, which is my favourite Whitney song ever.
And did she appear together?
Yeah, apparently so. She was quite with it. She was speaking to the crowd. She got her daughter on stage with her, who was very reluctant and very embarrassed, and sang a couple of lines of a song and then pegged it. But yeah, apparently she was in good form. The audience loved her. They were all dancing on their chairs by the end of it.
Now, that is unusual at a charity event, because you'd think that people would be very blasé and, I'm too rich to move.
No, they were really captivated. Apparently, the stage presence that she still has is incredible. And I was speaking to Max Clifford, the man who never smiles, beforehand. I've never seen him smile. But he's always good for a quote. And I said to him, are you excited? And he was like, well, I just hope she was better than the last time I saw her. Because he'd actually seen her at another charity do in Tobago, where he said that she wasn't with it at all. And she, he said, the other artists, there was Diana Ross and Rod Stewart, they performed fantastically.
Well,
and
all
Whitney,
these people on the same bill?
Yeah.
Diana Ross, did you say?
This wasn't last night. This was at a do in Tobago, another charity ball thing. These things happen all the time, don't they? There's lots of rich people.
I don't know. I don't get invited to anything.
No, well, I do, just to stand outside talking to celebrities. But I was allowed inside this time. They had this thing called the Talent Retreat, and it was fantastic. Put together all of these amazing brands like jewellery and makeup and products and
Mobile
all sorts.
phones, that sort of
mobile
thing.
phones, and the celebrities could just go in there and wander around each thing and say, "I'll have one of those, one of those."
I saw that in a movie just recently. It was in what was it? Arg. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, I've seen that on the telly.
It does amaze me that the richer you are, the more you get given.
Absolutely. Well, it's that famous line in With Nell and I. Very expensive. Free to those that can afford it. Very expensive to those that can't. Yeah. How disappointed that we're one of those that can't.
That can't. Yeah. Although I did snuffle a few goodies away.
Did you? What did you get? Did you nick things?
No, I just said...
From a charity?
No, this was from this talent retreat thing. And they said to me, "Do you want to watch?" I was like, "Okay then." And I got a pair of those funny trainers.
Watch?
Yeah.
What kind of watch?
A storm watch.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, right.
In the cold light of day, it's actually quite big and chunky, but...
Yeah.
There's like these funny trainers. You know those trainers that are supposed to be good for your posture, but look ridiculous? Have you seen those?
Saucony, or Asics, or...
No, not
Nike,
Asics.
or Adidas,
No.
or... Let's think of every brand in the world.
They're not a major brand. They're a new thing that have come out, and if you walk in them, they apparently... build your muscles and help you sort of get more defined muscles, and they actually are much better for your posture than any other trainer, but they look absolutely ridiculous. They look like sort of rubber foam brick type things on your feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that was me. And that made up for not being able to see Whitney.
Right. Hey, so do you already have planned next week what you're going to do?
Sure do. Sex and the City, the premiere. I can't wait, Nick.
Are you going to go and see it again?
So overexcited, and I'll come in and tell you all about it if you want on Monday night.
Oh, all right then.
Go on, you know you want to. I'm planning my outfit, I'm planning my shoes.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. You
Yeah.
already know what you're going to wear.
I know what I'm going to wear, and my shoes. I don't care if they hurt. In fact, it's probably better if they hurt.
Raj, have you ever bought shoes knowing that you won't be able to walk in them?
Yeah, I'm wearing some now, actually.
That's quite unusual for a guy.
He's lying.
Oh, okay. He's his dry sense of humour. You two are rubbing off on each other.
Claudia, what's her name? She was wearing shoes. Well, she looked like a pole dancer when she was standing outside that movie the other day.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, that's the one. What did I say?
Claudia, what's her name?
Oh yeah,
you were thinking of Claudia Schiffer.
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. They all sort of meld into like a big blonde fuzz of hair, don't they? Really? Deliberately wearing shoes that you can't walk in. That's to a man, that just seems insane. Why do you do that to yourselves?
Now, I mean, I agree with you on the Gwyneth front, because she couldn't actually walk in them.
Yeah.
She was shuffling.
Well, she
could just take little mini footsteps.
She had to be held up.
Yeah. I would never wear shoes that high, but I do love... I mean, if they look good, then you have to bear the pain. It's fashion, not function.
Right.
It's one of my mottos.
But... I mean, I don't want to quiz you about this and feel that you're under the spotlight, but it is men that are making these shoes. Women don't make shoes for women like that. It's the men are making shoes for
Gina
women.
is a... and also Tamara, the lady who owns Jimmy Choo.
Jimmy
Choo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was a guy, but she's now taken over the empire, and she does the designing. I mean, there are some women, I think, but yeah, no, I agree with you, it is a lot of men.
Right, so I stand corrected. Once again, I'm wrong.
Yeah, but we don't mind going through the pain, that's the thing, it's just something that we do.
Okay. All right, so the thing on Monday, so presumably you'll be out?
The thing, it's the Sex and the City world premiere
that's
in
right.
Leicester Square.
I'm as excited as you are, honestly.
Ecstatic,
It's just that my face doesn't show it right now.
Yeah.
So you'll be out by the time I'm...
I hope so.
Okay.
I'll
right,
come
well,
back around 9:30ish, I should imagine.
And you can tell us about the celebs you've seen.
I'll totter in.
Yeah, okay.
With my tutu.
Rightio. Okay.
Leg warmers, the works.
All right, cheers, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. That's Joe Parkinson. This is LBC. Get that call up on line 1, and I'll have a little chit-chat to her, because there's precious little time to go. Have a good night, Joe. Cheers, my dear.
Bye-bye.
What kind of a bag have you got?
It's a Miu Miu bag.
Oh, lovely.
Bye.
Ta-ta. Right, I've got a couple of minutes left. In fact, 1 minute. If you can get that caller up, I'll talk to her. If not, I'll just have to... Oh, it's a knot. Oh, well. No, never mind. I'll have to talk to you then, Raj. So, Sex in the City, or throwing yourself off a balcony. Which is it to be? Those are your only choices.
Balcony does look
The balcony,
very
yeah, I
tempting.
know. What a view. For the brief seconds that as you're plunging off it, you'll be able to enjoy it, as opposed to sitting in a living hell for 2 hours of women flapping their gums at each other. I bet there's so much talking in that movie, it's giving me pain just thinking about it.
I bet you've got front row tickets, haven't you?
A Sex and the City fan, Victoria?
No, sadly not.
Well, you've redeemed yourself. All you have to do now is go home and rip that Gordon Ramsay off your wall. Here, Raj, what have we talked about tonight then, eh?
We spoke about kind-hearted English people.
Yes.
Revering Jade Goody.
Right.
Easy like Sunday morning. 83 degrees. Bath Spa University, where you can do a beauty course, Nick, if you fancy. Serotonin in the brain.
Yeah.
Meeting friends. Roy Ayres. SAD, bell curves, increased levels of irritation, the Gulf Stream, the Corgis, who didn't sing Everybody Loves the Sunshine.
Yeah, with a K.
Absolutely. Equator, Ergonomic Studios, Misinformation, Trusting Forwards, Caveman Diets, Wrestling Saber-Toothed Tigers, Third Rock from the Sun, Getting Sun, The Future is Not Written.
Getting Some.
Getting Sun.
Sun, right. Keep it clean. Go on.
Dr. Lance, World Holiday Champions, Absenteeism, Sneezers Interruptus,
yes.
Bank Holidays,
Right.
Le Pen, Upon, Pernod, Abolishing Income Tax in Luxembourg,
LBC, Jim's next.